Hello, Howard Hanna. Happy Wednesday. You know the drill by now. We're going to just give it a minute or so for everyone to log on. This seems to be a pretty popular topic. Let's see here. We have over 400 people that have registered. We'll see how many people have gotten to their computer and ready to join us. So for those of you who are on right now, we are going to discuss some newer tools today. We're very excited about that. Good morning. We are very excited about that. We do want to say we will be planning another webinar that is just on campaigns, the campaigns feature from Engage 2.0 in September. So, and we might actually be able to do that a morning session and an afternoon session. It's going to be from the education team. Just to kind of review, I know some people, certain times work better. Meta with the all caps, good morning. She knows I love that. So we'll see when it starts to slow down here. I hope everyone is enjoying their summer. You know, the one good thing about me on these Zoom calls is I'm good at just filling space if we need to. I think when it gets to maybe 2, I might. All right, I'm going to, it's 10:02 and we are on from about 10 to 11, and I'd love to introduce 2 people that we have on that you might not have seen their faces recently. I know the admins have seen Natalie a ton, but Lauren joined us actually for a webinar back when it was really shutdown time during COVID, when we did some virtual open houses and such. But Lauren Morante is corporate marketing director and my other go-to person in marketing when I have any questions. So we've asked her to join us because she really does know all of the automated systems throughout Howard Hanna. And she's going to introduce a few things and then just be on if there's questions. And then Natalie Dugood, she is the MarTech training specialist in New York. So she knows the tools just as good as, if not better than, the people that are working there. She's on these all the time. She's training on them. So you probably recognize her face and voice from some of our YouTube channel videos. And then I am Kate LeSueur. If you are just joining our webinar series, you will probably see me a lot. I usually kind of start these. I'm the director of education for the Midwest here. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen because we do have a lot that we'd like to share with you all. And I'm going to have Lauren unmute and just begin with a few things before we really get started on what the automated systems actually mean.
Hi, everybody. Nice to be with you today. So I just wanted to talk about automation because it's a term that we kind of throw around pretty often in marketing and training, and I just wanted to clarify some things for you. So true automation is when something is created for you and distributed automatically based on a trigger in our data feeds, and these are what we call set it and forget it. However, we also use the term automation when we're talking about things that are automatically created for you, but it's still something that you need to manually review it or maybe make a few changes before you send and share it. Then next slide. Okay, so first we'll talk about the set it and forget it pieces. So this is something where the marketing, the automation, it's the creation and the distribution are automated. So just a few examples of these that we offer at Howard Hanna are the just listed, just sold, and new neighbor postcards. And I know some of you might not be familiar with this. This is something that varies by market and commission plans. So not everyone has this feature. Neighborhood news and Moxie campaigns, which is a new thing that we just released that we're very excited about. And then Real Scout, which you guys all know and love. It's very popular, but the email notifications. So campaigns, neighborhood news, Real Scout, those are all things that once you subscribe somebody for, it's just sent to them and you don't have to worry about it. And then the automated creation. So these are the things that are not set it and forget it, but we have really started all the key components for you. So all you have to do is get the piece and share it, distribute it, present it. So a few examples of these pieces are Hanna presentations. So specifically the default buyer and seller presentations, there's a collection of pages that have already been selected for you with the most basic core content about our services that we offer. And then also some of you have been enjoying in the last year the personalized ebooks. So those are called the Guides to Home Selling and Guide to Home Buying. And we set it up, it looks just like a PDF that you would share, but it's because we put it in Hanna presentations, it already has your branding on it, it's perfect. You don't have to add or remove any pages, but you can if you want to. Otherwise, you can literally get it started and start using it, share it, email it, whatever you need to do. For e-cards, so this is very slightly between New York and our other states. So e-cards are available in New York in the marketing store and for everyone else through Go Hanna. So as you guys know, we always have e-cards for marketing campaigns and holidays, but I think the more exciting thing is our dynamic MLS e-cards. So those are the things that pull in your listing information. So that pulls in the listing photo and the basic listing details. And all you have to do at that point is select who you're sending it to, add in a personal message, but the basis of the e-card is there, it's ready for you to go.
Lauren, you've already got your first question. So you had mentioned the personalized e-book Guide to Home Selling and Home Buying that would be branded with their information because it's in Hanna presentations. If they download that as a PDF, will it stay with their own information? Like, can they actually have that printed as their own personalized booklet?
Yes, so we actually have an unbranded version available for download on Go Hanna, but what you guys want to use is the branded version. So what you should do is go into Hanna presentations and start setting it up like a presentation like you normally would. And then you use the download function, just like you would be downloading a print 8.5 by 11 version of your listing presentation. And as long as you have the footers turned on, which I believe everybody does, it should also have an About Me section included, I believe, at the end of the presentation, like your typical listing presentation would. So when you download it, as long as you don't remove any pages or change any settings, it should have all of your branding. Any other questions on that?
So there was one, but so Mary Frances is asking, the dynamic e-card, MLS e-card, isn't that the same kind of listing notification that they would get through Real Scout? They're both telling them about a new listing. Yes, it's also the same if they get the new listing notifications from Engage. But again, I just want to say, because you're going to get, especially on this webinar, you're going to hear so many different automated marketing options. What I tell people is that it can be overwhelming. Pick the one that you like the most and really focus on learning that one. If you like the e-cards, if you like just listed from Engage, whichever you choose, just really master that. You don't have to learn all of them. So there will be some redundancy in this, but again, just pick the one that you like.
Yep, and then just add what you said, Kate. So the dynamic e-cards, the reason why those are different from Real Scout and the automated notification emails is because it is branded to you, and it also will tie in, typically it will tie in a graphic that's kind of Howard Hanna marketing looking. So just an example, we have some that say broker open, we have some that say join me for an open house. They just look a little different, and it's usually featuring just a single listing. And then we also have some that would say find it first, or if we're having a big event weekend and you want to highlight that specific listing for that big event weekend, we usually have dynamic e-card designs that incorporate those campaigns as well. So that's kind of the only reason why you'd want to use one over the other. Okay, so some more automated creation. So this is one of my favorite things that the marketing department is doing right now, the enhance weekly newsletter emails that you get from marketing on Mondays. This is basically just a weekly update. It's a library of content that you can share. We always include the links to every piece, and it's just a very short, very easily digestible message that you just have maybe 1 or 2 blog posts, a couple of our social media graphics, maybe there's some national holidays like National Donut Day coming up that we have a graphic available for you on GoHanna. So this is really the easiest way. We're kind of giving you a marketing plan without any thought involved. It's really a no-brainer to use whatever we're sending to you. And of course, this isn't in here, but even Howard Hanna's social media channels. So we are sharing this stuff, and a lot of the stuff that we're including in the enhanced emails are things that we're sharing ourselves too. So an even easier thing is to just follow us on Facebook and share what we're sharing. And because you're sharing corporate content and we have so many followers, it will help you and your traffic as well. So the next thing, and this is we're going to get into more detail about Impress on today's webinar. So this is just a brief note, but the newer Impress automated marketing packages for listings. I know a couple markets don't have this yet, so this is going to be kind of a preview for you. But this is something I've been hearing great feedback about this. I think one of the agents on the last Friday webinar even brought this up too. It's so simple, it's done for you. So anytime you get a new listing, whether it's a standard listing or a luxury listing, you will get an email notification sent to you that you have a marketing package created. So we'll get into more detail there, but what we wanted to explain is that the piece that is automated with Impress is just the creation of the materials. So you get a triggered notification every time your property status changes. So if you have an open house or price reduced or it goes inactive, you'll get a just sold package. So those emails to you are automated, but you still have to go in and either download or share or send or even request to have professionally printed. None of the pieces are sent automatically. It's just the package that's created automatically for you. So that's a big question that we have.
Lauren, I've got 2 questions for you. If someone has Safari on a Mac, how can they access the enhanced materials? Do they need?
That should not impact anything. It's all web-based. So as long as you have internet access and you have access to GoHanna, which everyone on this call should for the most part, and this is something that is sent to you through email. So as long as you have your email set up, if you are not receiving the emails, you could email marketing@howardhanna.com and say that you've never received an enhanced newsletter, and we can make sure that you're included on the list. But for the most part, everyone should be receiving those every Monday via email.
So just so another question that came in, the email comes from Howard Hanna Marketing, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, and then it's every Monday, and then what Facebook page should they follow for the enhanced pieces?
So the enhanced pieces are typically things that we share on our corporate Facebook page, which is just Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. So that's our biggest one. We do also have regional Facebook pages as well. I think we have Howard Hanna Pennsylvania, Howard Hanna Midwest. So if you want to follow a page that's more specific to you, you can do that. But I would recommend that everybody follows and shares things from Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. We also have our corporate Instagram page as well, but it is easier to share things from Facebook.
So last couple questions, and then I'm gonna hand this over. So yes, this is a downloadable presentation. It will be shared in the follow-up. We get that email a lot. Someone's asking if it's recorded, where they can get all of this. There will be a follow-up email, as with every one of these that we're training that we do. It comes from Howard Hanna Education. It's usually a type of constant contact email with a lot of other supplemental stuff. And then someone had asked, can we have a list of all of these different marketing options? Is this free? Does this cost a fee? I'm going to answer that one actually. So Howard Hanna has paid for all of this for you. Everything is free unless you want to pay for some type of postage or if you want to have something professionally printed. Everything is included on GoHanna. Howard Hanna has paid for this for their agents. which is actually going to bring me to a part a little bit later in the presentation, but I know that a lot of people are going to want to see these tools. So if you have other questions, you know, there's Lauren's first and last name at howardhanna.com, Lauren Morante, you could ask her. But we are going to just have her stay on for a little bit. Lauren, just watch the Q&A if there's anything else that you can answer. And I'm going to take over here. So I'm going to be really quick, but I do like doing the whole with them. Like, what's in it for me? Why is this so important? This entire presentation is going to go live in a moment. So for all of you that are really excited about campaigns and Impress, you're going to see it. But we want you to not just know you can do this, but really understand why it's so significant and then how you're able to present this to a seller on a listing appointment. So there's been some studies out, and actually Moxie, our partner, Moxie did this study on where people are spending most of their time. So the average NAR agent is spending over 50% of their time prospecting, and then less than 50% on their sphere of influence. The reason why automation is so helpful, especially with the Moxie products, is that it's going to actually reach out to that sphere, the people who already know, like, and trust you, right? So the close rate on these is kind of sad. We spend over 50% prospecting for a group of people that has a 1% close rate. That's a huge waste of time. So we want to make life easier for every agent at Howard Hanna to really get the correct, solid leads that are going to amount to something. Your sphere of influence is at a 70% close rate, so that's really where you should be spending your time. So if you are using these automated systems to reach your sphere, you're going to spend all this time reaching your sphere of influence, but the irony is you're just doing it with one click, or you're just sending it once. That's the best part, is you're staying in touch with your sphere using these automated systems without having to work very hard at all. And that's what this whole process is about, this entire presentation. So while we're going through it, I'm just going to say, and again, it is recorded. It will be shared after the fact. I'm going to pause there. While we're doing this, just please take some notes on how you would actually say this to a seller. How would you present this on a listing appointment to show that they need to be working with you and Howard Hanna? So we're going to quickly go over some automation that you already know. We're actually not even going to go live. So I'm going to ask Natalie if she can share here one of our easiest automated systems that everyone on this call should at least be getting involved with. Natalie?
Yeah, so neighborhood news, again, is through Engage. And basically, you're setting up your client, and you can either do it by zip code, or we also have made it available that you can, like, draw on a map or, you know, adjust prices or bed and baths to get a more specific neighborhood news for your client in case the zip code doesn't really accurately cover. And so basically, you set them up, you know, you put in that information, their email, and then once a month, they're going to get this neighborhood news email with all this great, helpful information about what's going on around them. And you just set them up for it, and they're just going to get that forever, and you look like a rock star.
Yeah, and this is also a good time to tell everyone that the typical seller picks their agent within 1 to 3 days, and it's usually who was the last agent to reach out to them or that they received something from. So again, automated systems being the easiest way to stay top of mind. So the next option I just want to mention is our open to close to Real Scout. So Lauren had mentioned an automated system being the Real Scout emails. So a lot of people are using open to close only for open houses, and I'm going to challenge you to do a little bit more with that. So if someone, let's say Natalie's interested in one of my listings, you know, 123 Main Street, and she drives by and she actually calls me and asks about it. She doesn't look at it online. She doesn't come to an open house, but she actually asked me about it. I should then take her information, get as much as I can over the phone, and I should put her email into my open to close. I can turn off that email, that automated email, thank you for coming to the open house, for that one moment, send her into my open to close, and then she's going to be going both into Real Scout and Engage. The best part about that is this seemingly, you know, kind of, I don't know what the word would be, like not very solid lead, someone just calling on a property, has now become part of my Real Scout, where I can click in, see what property she's looking at. We all know that Real Scout gives us all of this amazing information. Natalie likes another property that maybe isn't my listing. I can reach out to Natalie and say, hey, like, have you seen this property? It's similar to mine, but I think we should probably go see it in person. So just keep that in mind, that open to close to Real Scout is a great automated system that can be utilized for more than just open houses. So now we're getting into the fun stuff, right? Look at that, we're even 10 minutes early. So I just want to, again, remind everyone that this whole theme is about getting listings. So please think about how you're going to not just know how to do this, but I would say add a page to your Hanna presentations that just says my marketing plan. And you look like a rock star with all of the things that Howard Hanna has already provided for you. You have a page that gives an example. This is going to be available, Impress, social media. I have these, I'm going to send out your listing to my sphere. I'm going to share, well, I guess Natalie's going to show you all the cool things that you can do, but I do want to hand it over to her for a great new tool that is, I think, in almost every market, if not, will be soon, called Impress.
Okay, so Impress, basically, you will want to be on the lookout for an email when you get a new listing. And it's going to have this packet available for you with, flyers, postcards, e-postcards, social media content, all for this new listing that's available for you once you get that new listing up. Again, you want to give it a little bit of time once you put it on the MLS just for all the different sites to sync, but you'll get this nice congratulations with just some easy steps of how you can just get that word out quickly. Whether it is, if you go to the next slide, with the print marketing, you have digital marketing, as well as social media marketing, just different ways and different steps that you can just push out that you have this new listing with this whole package that's already created for you. And they also do price reduced, open houses, and if your listing just got sold as well with that. So I can just share my screen to show you where you can find that, because it is called Impress, but you will find it under your marketing center.
Natalie, while you're getting that set up, can I just answer a few quick questions here? So for the engaged, just listed, just sold cards, you have to trigger that through the sales flow. So if you can't just set that up, you'd have to actually trigger and then hit the button that says send. We can get into that. There's also kind of a easier way maybe with campaigns to do the trigger marketing, or I shouldn't say trigger marketing, the trigger campaigns that Natalie is going to show you. Do the Impress marketing pieces have embedded links to take them to the listing when they use them on social media? So if someone used a link from Impress, does that take them to their listing? Yeah, Lauren, I'm looking at you.
Okay, so that's a question that we get a lot. So the way that the social media, the share button works in Impress, unfortunately, it's using Facebook's API. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to explain this here. So when we share that image, it's looking for the website where that graphic, that image is hosted. And because it's hosted on Impress, it's actually sharing the link to the Impress page where that image is. So my suggestion, my workaround to make sure that your social graphics will link back to your landing page on howardhanna.com or on your agent website are to download that graphic first and then upload it to GoHanna as a post, and then in the caption of the post, paste the link to that so people can still click the link that you want them to go to. So it's kind of a weird workaround, but it's just the way that it has to work.
Hey, Lauren, if you remember that was a question, I'm going to make that a tech tip, and I will share that, and we can do that in a 3-minute tech tip. So pay attention, Sharon, that's coming. Someone is asking, they've received those emails. Can you use this without the price on it? Can you actually customize what they're offering?
I believe, are you referring to the listing price, I'm assuming?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so Impress, this is actually something, I don't think I mentioned this. So one tip that I have for any of these automated pieces that we're talking about is to make sure what you put in the MLS is how you want things to be displayed. It will make the automated process for you a lot easier. There will be a lot less editing because a lot of these pieces, including Impress, pull from the MLS. So there is a way to edit the listing price on all the Impress pieces, but it is going to be pulling in whatever you have in the MLS.
Okay, we're getting lots of questions. So the just listed, just sold printed postcards, do they still get generated and mailed automatically like they have in the past? So that you're talking about with Quantum.
Yeah, this is something that I said varies by market. So I would definitely talk to your manager to confirm the logistics of that. But if you've gotten them in the past, that should still be working for you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Natalie, for for the questions. Give me one moment. So when both sides of a deal are Howard Hanna agents, how are the postcards sent? Individual or together? And are they sent to the same address? So the just listed, just sold cards, would that be together?
That is a good question. Let me look into that and we'll make sure it's answered.
And then, yeah, so we'll try to get an FAQ out to you guys with these. I'm making a note. And I think, Natalie, for the question was, if you share a social post, can you share that without the listing price online? Can you share it without the list price?
I believe for that, I think you could probably go in and there should be a field for the listing price. So if you go into that social graphic piece in your Impress dashboard where you can edit everything, if you just delete that, then I think it will go away and it will just show with nothing there, but it might show a gap in the graphic. So just be aware of that there is a spot designed to show the price. So it might look a little awkward without it.
All right, there's a couple more. We're gonna try to get through this, and then we can answer those at the end. But Lauren, if obviously you don't mind staying on till, I don't know if there's more questions for you. Natalie, go ahead.
Okay, so basically just the last part of Impress, since a lot of your questions were answered. It's just under the marketing tab, which a lot of what we go over today is under the marketing tab, but it's called Marketing Center. So if you get an email from Impress with just listed and you want, to get your packet of materials and maybe you lost the email or something, if you go to Marketing Center right here, it's going to pull up your Impress dashboard where you can then go over to your listings here and they would be populated below to click on them. And you can kind of see the projects if you have projects in the works. And so that's basically Impress. We don't have any more questions. I can move on to Automated Market Share, which is our next tool. All right. So also under the marketing tab, we have Automated Market Share. So I'm going to click on New York because that's my region. And your region will just be there. And so basically what this is great social media content or presentation content about, we're #1 in this specific county. So you can search for your county here over on the side and it's going to pull up. You click on it, you can kind of see there's, possibilities of different price ranges. If your county doesn't show up, then maybe you weren't #1 that month and we'll work on getting you #1 next month with that. But basically it grabs data from a year and that's updated every month. So it tells you right up at the top, this is July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. And then just some easy ways for you to share this. If I click, the two main ones that it likes to show is total volume and total units. So if we have #1 market share in that, they will both populate.
Natalie, when you're done, you're gonna have to show how you got to this page again.
Yep, I can do that. And so basically, you can easily just share it to your social media here. If I click on that, my Facebook's gonna open and I can write my own content to go with that link. Twitter, LinkedIn. There's also a video that plays nice music. People love videos, so posting video content is always great to engage them. Again, you can post on social media, but if you weren't sure what caption to do, this kind of just gives you a template of what a good caption is. If you see Lala Point, don't get confused. That's just the company that we worked with to produce this, and we called it Market Share. There's also Facebook graphics, Instagram and Snapchat graphics here. It just, tells you right next to it, as well as you can even do like a 4-page Instagram story. If you want to send them to a website which looks, professional, lets them play around with it, and you just want to directly send them there rather than through a graphic, that's available. And then at the end, we just have PDFs for Hanna presentations, slides down here. I would definitely recommend, you know, if you're going to do a Hanna presentation, listing presentation, you know, to download this PDF and upload it into that presentation, because, I mean, that's a huge value factor right there.
I've got questions.
Okay, so first, I was on gohanna.com. I clicked on the marketing tab, and I'm gonna go to automated market share. Again, this might not be in all regions, but we're working on it. So if it's there, great, it is in your region.
So everything that we're showing today, since this is a marketing-based webinar, will be under the marketing tab. When in doubt, look under the marketing tab, you're gonna see the tool that we're on. Can this be done by suburb?
It is
by city. Yes. So I actually on my Facebook page, I actually did Shaker Heights. You can actually look up. I'm assuming when we say suburb, we're meaning city. You can.
So April Park, Boston Lake. Those are.
So scroll up. So are you under the county first? So
yes.
you
so
open the
comes up first.
So
if I were to look up like a town, Guilderland, you know, it would pop up. Just search for it to see if it's there.
Okay, so I've got a few other things. So for Pam, is there any way that we will do an instruction sheet that has all of these written? Yes, do not stop typing all of these instructions. Most of them already have instruction sheets created on GoHanna. We can send them out in the follow-up. If there's not one, that's my job. So I will make one where there isn't one, and you will have all of these. Don't worry about typing, just watch, relax. Question, will these post automatically every month, every quarter? So this is one where you would just come in and get the updated chart. Or, Natalie, I'm sorry, do you want to answer any of these? Do you want me to keep going?
Oh, I mean, you were doing fine. It's updated monthly here. So you have to just go in. I mean, you can see this goes through June 30th. And so you would just go in and get the updates from this site.
So a question, this is one where it's automatically created for you. You have to be the one to share it. If your location is not showing, it might not have top market share. So obviously we're only gonna put the ones on there where Howard Hanna is the market leader. We're not gonna provide one where we wouldn't be. That would probably be why your location is not available. I've tried putting this on my professional Facebook page. My only choice is on my personal page. Do you have any tricks? So it might default to your personal. You might have to just change that. Natalie, I don't know if you're willing to show this right now.
Yeah, can you see the pop-up window, or do I have to reshare?
Did something just pop up? We don't see anything.
Okay, hold on. Let me just reshare.
I have 2 Impress questions for Lauren after this, so you can't leave either.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna share this. Okay, so hold on, let me exit out. So, yes. When I click share on Facebook right here, this window pops up, and right now it is on my personal page. So I'm gonna go up to this button right here, and I'm gonna switch to share on a page that I manage. And then it will give me the page I manage, which if you have multiple ones, you can toggle between as well, and then I'm able to write on it. So just look for this button up here, and you're able to switch it.
Okay, I'm sorry to backtrack a little bit, but there are some questions while Lauren's still on. For Impress, the listings are not showing up. Even when they enter the MLS number, nothing's populating. How do we fix that? Might not be on the MLS long enough at that point?
Yeah, so it's supposed to be pretty quick from the time that a listing goes into the MLS. I think it updates a few times a day. So you should probably be getting a notification email out for just listed, I would say within 24 hours at least of that status change happening. So as long as it's in the MLS and that's happening, that should work. But I can see it looks like Kate's using Moxie support right now. that sounds like a data feed question, so a real problem. So I would say to use Moxie support, and we have the a phone number and their email address both on Howard, and anytime that we email about Impress, and in the notification emails, actually, we have the contact information, so you should definitely use that.
Okay, another question on Impress. Does the Impress package email get created for every listing? Is there a certain qualification? Does it need to be a single family? Is this available no matter what the listing is?
I believe the only types of listings that are not getting notifications right now are rentals and commercial, but I'll double check on that. Another thing that I briefly touched on, but I didn't really clarify. So if you have a listing that is at the HOD price point, the first level price point or above, even if it's not already submitted as an HOD listing, you will also get a luxury branded notification email with luxury branded pieces because we wanted everyone to benefit from having a slightly more luxury look for those listings that have earned it. So there's a chance you would get 2 notifications for every status change if your listing is that price point or above.
Can these go to a listing and a lister and a co-lister? Or is it only sent to the primary listing agent?
Let me confirm. I know that we do have designs available for agent teams and 2 agents. So I do think that some of that process, when you go in to create that piece, it might be a little manual. I think the primary agent, all of that information is filled in, but you might have to fill in the co-listing agent information, but we do have those things in the pipeline.
Okay, Lauren, you're off the hook. Natalie, can you share any of the Lala Point stuff on Instagram or TikTok? I love that someone asked about TikTok. I feel like we're so progressive right now.
So if you are going down this number list, we're going to see that there are graphics specifically made for Instagram. Here's one right here. You see the logo, and there's also, a 4-page image post that you can do. In regards to TikTok, I mean, there is a video, but you can download it. You could maybe.
You have to download it and then send it to yourself and then upload.
Would be, I think, your best way of getting that onto TikTok.
And if someone asks about TikTok, I am very confident they probably know how to upload and download and do all of that. So they could, there's no easy way to do it. And then the last question on this, if you don't see anything, like any county in your MLS, it might not be available in your region yet. So if you see some, it's probably because, and not yours, that's probably because the market share is not there. If you don't see anything in that MLS, it's probably because it has not taken that data yet. Do I have recommendations for hashtags for TikTok? So I would say the hashtags, if you're going to do something like this, the hashtags would be the same no matter what the platform. I would always do the same one. So if you've seen any of my social media classes, Howard Hanna has corporate hashtags that have been pretty well established. Home happens here, obviously hashtag Howard Hanna, hashtag home happens here, green gold sold. I would put in your location, your neighborhood, if you have your own hashtag, all of those to help people see it. Okay.
And again, before you go on to your next, Kate, I do see that some of you guys are saying, this is so much. It is so much, but again, that's why we say focus on one thing first. Just focus on one thing, get comfortable with it, add it to your checklist if you have those, and just get into the habit with it. And then you can move on to the next thing. You don't have to be doing all of these automated things, tomorrow. Just focus on one, put on your calendar once a month to come in and check if it's, Lala Point or market share has updated, and then, post it. Just little things. Just take baby steps with all of this.
I don't know if you saw someone just posted in the Q&A that they just did this on their social media and it was ridiculously easy and worked great. So we already have one success story from our webinar. All right, Natalie, I'm going to take over if you don't mind giving me the screen.
There you go.
All right, we are bringing out the big guns now for Engage 2.0. This is like everyone's favorite new tool. Big guns not being me, I meant the tool. Natalie is also big guns. Okay, so Campaigns is the newest automated system. And before I say anything further, this webinar was to include all automation. And in fact, we had this webinar scheduled prior to Campaigns being released. So this is going to be a review of everything you learned on more of the easier things on how to just get in there. If you didn't hear in the beginning, we are doing a Campaigns only webinar in September that's going to go kind of a little bit more in depth on how to change a lot of things. So we're excited to share this, but again, there will be a more elaborate version coming out. Just stay tuned for an email from Howard Hanna Education once that's scheduled. So Engage 2.0. First thing, if you've never joined, this is just resources. So don't click on this one. This one is actually going to be either under Agent Tools or at the top, Engage CRM. So Campaigns is automated. When we say set it and forget it, the first type of automation that Lauren had said in this presentation, that's where we are. So when you are on your agent dashboard, you're going to notice an option. This is from, we need to, Chris Gunn was giving me a hard time on our webinar. So here I am, I'm on the Engage platform, and you're going to see Campaigns up here. So I am going to tell you how to do the easiest thing with Campaigns. Just schedule out your own holiday campaign. So once I'm in Campaign, so again, it's just right up here, it's next to goals, you're going to see this option that says add from library. This is basically like downloading all of the campaign cards that are in there. And I do want to clarify that Campaigns is not e-cards. There's some, maybe similar graphics that you're going to see, but an e-card, you actually go in and send each one that you want to send, or you schedule it. A campaign is you put them in a campaign the first time, and then they'll be sent every subsequent email from that campaign. So I'm going to click add from library. And the first one, let's say I just want to do Hannah holiday campaign, no kids. I'm going to click preview, and it's just going to show me all the different campaign cards that are already scheduled to go out. So I click this once, and this is going to go to my sphere, anyone that's in Engage. So if you took my Engage classes in the past 2 years, the one piece of homework that I always said, I was like, it's going to be important eventually, I promise, is making groups. And that's really where this is going to become helpful. So let's say, all right, I like this. I'm going to add to my campaigns. So step one, I added from library. And now this is like basically downloaded. Natalie is going to get into a little bit more of how you can edit this. But once it's in your, once you've downloaded it, you're going to notice this option pops up. It says My Emails. So all of these emails in my campaign are going to be up here. This is where I can edit. All right. And that will be where we spend the majority of the September webinar on. So step one, I hit add from library. And now step two, I actually have to add people to the campaign. So I'm going to click on the name. There's so many holidays, it's getting ready to send. All right. And I copy, if I want to change the name so I know what this is. All right, it's showing me all of the ones that are scheduled, when they're going to go out. So step one, I added from the library. Step two, I'm adding people. So I can add everyone in my address book, in my Engage, in one click. I just click that, they're all added. If you don't want to do that yet, if you want to do a practice one or whatever, you can just click on people, and I could just type, let's say I want to send this to Natalie. So I can just search my contacts for Natalie, who I know you are in here. I know you're in here because I added you last night. So for the sake of time, her name would pop up once it found her. And I would just click a plus, and I'll show you what it looks like with the group. So let's say I wanted to add, you know, a certain group of buyers. All right, they're over here now, and you're gonna see this next option. So I click next. So step 1, add from library. Step 2, add people. Step 3, you just click run campaign. And that's all you need to know how to do. So typically I like to teach these classes with the easiest thing. For those of you that just want to try it, get it started. Remember how important it is to stay top of mind with your sphere. Of course, everything is taking forever to load while we're on a live webinar, just to start making me sweat over here. So this would eventually show up, and then I would click save, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's there. So once you hit run campaign, it's actually going to add to a different feature. Instead of being under the awaiting setup, it's going to be under running, I think is the word that it says, right, Natalie? Did it say, or act, yeah. So it's going to say awaiting setup, and then it's not actually sent when it's in awaiting setup. You can go in, so I know there's some managers on here that have seen this webinar on campaigns a couple times. You can go in and just add them to your library and then edit those emails if you want. And then when you're ready, when everything's done, that's when you can click run campaign. So it's not going to run immediately until you click that. So that's when you're able to edit. You can delete, you know, one or two different holidays if you want. And if my computer doesn't start working, I am going to have to send this over. So I'm going to show you that again, but I'm going to show you in another very easy feature. And then I'm going to just pass the rest of this time over to Natalie. The next thing I want to show you all is how you can actually share the Howard Hanna newsletter campaign. So this is a great new feature. A lot of agents had said to Howard Hanna they really wanted a newsletter. There's all these other options out there, and they wanted one to be coming from Howard Hanna branded to them. So again, I'm clicking on campaigns, and I'm going to add from library. So I'm showing everything I just showed you. And the Howard Hanna newsletter campaign is called Trending at Home. So there are campaigns for a lot of things here. And you're going to see these ones down here that Natalie will go over. Those are trigger ones. But I'm going to find that Trending at Home. I'm going to click preview just to show you what this looks like. It's a once a month newsletter. And even if you wanted to just send this to yourself at first and then get some content maybe to share on other sites, video content, you know, whatever, I'd like it to show up. So this is an example. You guys can see my screen right now, right? The PowerPoint. Okay. So this is an example of what the email would look like. Just for the sake of time, wanted to show you. So this would be every month. And once you've added that to your campaign, here you go. Add to campaigns. This is one that will be synced. All right, so if you don't edit anything with this because you're using it to send out and you want Howard Hanna to continue to update it, you see this thing under here, it's light gray, it says sync. That means that as long as Howard Hanna is writing a newsletter, my people will get it. If they're writing a newsletter through 2030 and I have people in this group, they will still be getting the updated version of that. So again, it's in awaiting setup, it's not in running. I click on the name. I'm going to add people. All right, there's the plus sign. There I am. I hit next. I hit save because that's just checking that I've got everyone in there. And then the last step to this is going to be clicking run campaign. So I hit run. And then once it's in running, it's going to move to that section. Now here, now it's working. And then it's gonna give me my unsubscribe rate, my open rate, and it's gonna let me see who's in that group. All right, so I just showed you very easy how you can at least set up the holiday campaign from Howard Hanna and the Trending at Home newsletter. Staying top of mind, automation, you click it once, you never have to open it again. Natalie is gonna show you some trigger components of this. Natalie.
Okay. There are a couple questions I was gonna ask you, but I'll share my screen.
Yes, you can ask me. I'm sorry, because I'm gonna, yeah, go ahead. What's happening here?
Tom asked, if I added a contact to a campaign, but now want to edit the actual emails in that campaign, will that previously added contact get the new version of emails or only new contacts after I edit?
No, it will. So he's saying he's put people in a campaign and then he's been editing those emails. As long as he edits so I would pause that campaign and then edit those emails and then run it again. Because you have to, you can't edit those emails when the campaign's running. You have to wait till it's in the setup to get to those emails to edit. Otherwise, it just makes copies and copies and copies.
A couple of just quick questions was they asked about if Home Actions is a Howard Hanna tool. It is not directly a Howard Hanna tool, but we do approve it. It is a great option for you guys. And then it is with Home Actions. If you click on articles, you do get alerted, which at the moment Engage, which again, now mine's running funny too, which at the moment Engage does not do with the newsletter. That was talked about in the webinar with Chris Gunn. And then there's a lot of questions about how is this different than neighborhood news?
Well, I see all of these. Yeah, I'll answer and I'm gonna sign off, I think, probably Natalie here. So for the first one though, I just wanna point out, this will have your personal information on it. That was another part of this, the branding component. Everything will have your information, your signature on it, and they can see your phone number, email, whatever you've decided to share. You add listings to the newsletter. So please, who's ever asking that, it's anonymous, please join us in September. You can. We're not gonna get into how you add a new row and new content to that extent, but you can add one at the bottom. It would not sync then. So once that sync is done, you'd have to remember to go in and manually send those. It's not, or after you finish the year, you're gonna have to check and make sure if there's any more that have been added to that group of campaigns. I hope that makes sense. Trading at home, different than neighborhood news because, or trending at home, that is like all written content about, like seasonal. So preparing for, the fall or how to winterize your home or staging. And it talks about the chow chow in the middle of the fall ones because that's really popular. Neighborhood news is purely statistical information from the MLS about data, just sold, just listed, price on market, things like that. Home Actions, the same as Albert Clark's subscription. Yes, Home Actions and Albert Clark, they're basically synonymous. He's the guy that does it all. Neighborhood news. So everything that we are showing you is included in the Engage subscription. So if you are paying for Home Actions and you want to, not, you can come over here. This is free. You can do both. Doesn't matter, but they are different content, different newsletters.
Yeah, and I just wanted to show that I'm in the campaign section again, and they did add a neighborhood news section right here, just to quickly kind of see how it's going, see what, if anything was updated, opened, email sent. You guys had been asking for that, so they put it all in one place since it is an automated email that goes out. Okay, so I'm just going to go over trigger campaigns. So, Kate went over the ones that are just gonna go out seasonally or on holidays or once a month. And now I'm gonna go over the ones just that you might want, a buyer warm prospect and just, a new lead to be getting. So I am going to click add from library. And so, we have all the ones that Kate went over, and I'm going to go down and, grab seller warm prospects up here. And I can preview it to see if I like it, like she showed, and then I can add it to the campaign, where I'll get a little alert when it's added. And give it a second. I don't know why mine's being slow as well, because it was running fine. Just a second. There we go. I get my little notification up here that it was added. Let me just go out and go back in, so we can grab it. All right, so it's right here. So what I can do is I'm just going to show you my emails quickly about how you can just edit them. But as Kate said, we're in September, we're going to go in a lot more depth. I just want to show you where it is available. So these are where all the emails are listed, and you can see, you can know what campaign they're a part of by their name at the front. Seller warm prospects, I have my home buyer tips, trending at home, and they're all there. So for a lot of the automated ones that Kate was showing, you don't really want to touch those, and you don't want to, you know, throw off the sync, because that's something the company is going to be updating for you, you know, with holidays every year and whatnot. With this is kind of going out to your prospects, your COI, your clients. And so this might be something you want to personalize a little bit. And you can see that this is synced here. If I go edit, and again, I'm not going to go into all these buttons right now. We're going to do that later. But I can just change the subject or the preview text, or if I want to just change the wording, I just do not change anything within the parentheses is really all I'm going to go over right now. But say if I don't say hi, I say hey, I could change that. I just don't want to put hey Bob, because if I change this, then everyone's going to get hey Bob rather than their own personal name. And we don't want to do that. And then I would just continue. So that's really all we're going to show about editing your emails right now. That is where you would go in to do it. And we'll go into a lot more depth later on. So then I can just save this. And it's going to show me that this is no longer has that synced from the brokerage because I changed it. So then we're going to go into my campaigns and waiting setup, and we're going to edit it. Second once it thinks. And so here we're going to have all the options of, these are the emails that, you know, maybe we edited, we went through, personalized them, and then the days it starts after the campaign starts. So what that means is right here it says trigger seller prospect. Transaction moves from marketing to prospects. So in Engage, we basically we have that the marketing that you set up, where there's the marketing and then you have the buyer and seller transaction tools basically. And so in a seller transaction, you have the prospect phase, the active phase, and the pending phase. And so when you have someone that just moves into that seller prospect stage, if you have this campaign up and running, it would then trigger these emails to go out. I can, you know, change if I want them to get 2 emails the first week and then maybe back off a bit. You can personalize this how you want. You can delete any that you think aren't necessary, and you can even add your own down here. So then it's important to know what the trigger is, and then we would do next, where we could also preview the emails again to check them. And then if I click save, it's going to bring me to that screen that you saw with Kate, where we could, there we go, you know, where we can run the campaign.
There is a question, Natalie. Can you just really clarify, if you edit any email that's in a synced campaign, it will no longer be synced for future emails? Let's just really make sure that, I don't know, if where they would see that, if you could just go over it again.
Yep, so if you edit an email and it doesn't have that synced anymore, that means you personalized it. So the company, if they make an update to it, they're not going to overwrite what you did. So that's a separate, it's your personal email, and you're not going to get any updates that the brokerage did, simply because they don't want to undo the work you did in personalizing it. So please, think through if this is an email you want to update or personalize. And again, I would super stress not to really touch the automatic, holiday ones, the, newsletter and all those, because you just want that to be continually running for everyone in your COI.
Natalie, another question. So stay on the screen if you don't mind. Someone had asked, okay, so what if they don't really use the task list or the sales flow, which did we mention that now that's way easier? I don't know if we had time to mention that, but after this, if you want to bring that up. Someone asked, maybe they just want to add someone manually to this campaign. Are they able to do that?
Yes, so with the add people, for the most part with trigger campaigns, you're just gonna let the trigger run. But say I just ran this campaign now, but I had, 3 seller prospects that I moved to be a prospect earlier this week and I want them on this campaign. I would click add people and it's the same. I could just search them. So I can search Kate. Let's see if she comes up. My Engage likes you, Kate. And then I can add her to that list, click next, and then save it there. And so you can add individual people if you've had some missed, or if you do not use the task manager as much and you just want to just have that on your checklist to go in and add them to these campaigns, you definitely can do that too. And so the last step is just running the campaign. And then whenever that trigger is set, where you put someone into a seller prospect, they're going to get these series of emails getting sent out to them. And again, if we go up, so just to show you where the task manager is, what I was talking about, if we go up to this gear, I know we're already at 11 minutes. And it was engage settings right here, task manager. Here's the 3 plans. And they have simplified these a lot. You guys were asking for that. And again, there's only a couple that are unremovable, but you can delete any quest if you want really simplified, even though we did simplify it for you guys. And you can even add your own if there's something unique that you do. And here's the 3 steps: prospect, active, and pending.
So I just want to say, while there's 200 people still on, question, adding someone to the trigger campaign, will they get where the rest of the group is, or will it start from the beginning for them? It will start from the beginning. So if it's a trigger campaign, it's not scheduled on days, it's scheduled on days out that you've added them to the campaign. So like day 1, they get, I don't know, whatever, like welcome or whatever. And then like day 15, it's a testimonial request so it's actually triggered by when they're added to the campaign. So technically you don't even have to use the sales flow or the trigger component, but if you run the campaign, just add people whenever you're ready, and then they'll get that. So again, to set it and forget it. I do want to kind of conclude here, because it is, I know, a little bit after 11. So for those of you that maybe aren't aware of the webinar schedule, please keep in mind that we are doing 2 company-wide Wednesday webinars every month on the 1st and the 3rd of the month. The theme will come out at the beginning of the month, so just mark your calendar now and remember that. Hobie's panel of agents will always be the 2nd Friday of the month. And this seemed to be so popular during COVID, we're actually continuing it indefinitely. We do have some themes coming up that are going to be pretty great, but if there's a request that you have, whether it's a training, a theme, a tool, whatever, please email someone from the education team. Obviously, we have marketing on this time. We might have IT on another time. We really want these to be helpful for everyone throughout the company. I saw some great feedback today. People thought that this was pretty informative, so I'm really glad that you guys all could join us. Last question before we end it: if you add a person to an existing running campaign, do you need to hit the run campaign again, or does a new client just get added and join for the next mailing? Are you answering that, Natalie, or am I? Because I don't know if I think it depends on what kind of campaign it is. If you're adding someone to like a holiday campaign, you can add anyone that's a running campaign, and they would just be part of it. So you don't have to pause and then hit run again. If it's running and you add someone, they'll be added to that group. And to clarify, so the first and third Wednesday, yeah, so Larry's asking the first and third Wednesday of the month and the second Friday. That is when you should map out time. They all start at 10 a.m. Please join us next month, the first and third, and then the second Friday. Or the first and third Wednesday, the second Friday. No problem. Thank you everyone for joining us. Oh, it looks like a lot of people are very excited about these tools. Thank you, Lauren, for your help. And we will send a follow-up email probably this afternoon. Depending on some of the training materials, it might be tomorrow morning, but we will get this soon for all of you. Thank you again.